Hey guys, Pyker here again, and we're playing Kerbal Space Program. I know for this episode we said we were going to do a build a moon lander and test it on the surface of Kerbin, but I already built a moon lander and I can't really test it on Kerbin because the engines I have for it aren't strong enough to get off of the ground from the gravity of Kerbin, but the moon they should be fine. Um, so what we're going to do instead is we're going to put a space station, hopefully, into orbit. Um, I've been messing with this for a little while now, and this seems to be the most successful. I mean, it's not perfect in any means or by any way, but we should be able to get this thing into orbit. Um, Also, we have Jebediah back. I don't know what happened, but he, through the miracles of modern science, was reincarnated and came back to work for us here at the Kerbal Space Program. So, what we're going to do is we're going to send this puppy into orbit, hopefully get it into at least 250,000 meters orbit, somewhere around in there, hopefully, and we'll go from there. So, we're going to go ahead and launch in 3, 2, 1. So I figured before we started venturing to the moon with an actual lander, we would get a space station up and build our space station because I want to build a space station and then add a couple pieces to it. I want to add like a scientific pod, and I want to add, and I completely forgot to put on my SAS because I'm an idiot. Um, I want to add like a scientific pod, and I want to add a refueling pod. I want to add a bunch of stuff to this space station, but obviously we're going to have to do it piece by piece. So for right now, we're just going to get the space station core up with Jovsky piloting the space station, and we just have Jebediah there as insurance. Um, I have this extra pod on here because this is going to be the design, roughly the design for our moon lander. Um, we're going to have a command module and a lander module. So there'll be two pieces, and the command module will be the actual thing that propels the moon lander out to the moon once we get into orbit, and all that fun stuff. Um, so, where was I on with that? But, anyways, we're going to get this into orbit, and then we're going to add probably at least two more things to it. So, a refueling station and a science based station, which is going to basically be like the main pod for running the space station, because it'll be like a viewing pod with a with one seat in it, and that should be pretty good for science pod we'll put like an accelerometer on it and a thermometer and all that fun stuff, and basically it'll just be another pod to add to it. But basically, what I was saying is that this is going to be our general design. So we're going to have a command module and the moon lander. So what's going to happen is we're going to fly out to the moon with the command module and the moon lander, and then transfer Kerbals from the command module to the moon lander, land on the moon, fly back up, rendezvous with the command module, load the Kerbals from the moon lander into the command module, and then ditch the moon lander there and fly the command module back. Um, Now, whether or not that'll work or not is a completely different story. But that's the general idea of what I'm running into right now, because that's how I've done it before, and I'm sticking to what I know for now. Also, we're probably gonna do what we're probably gonna end up doing is we'll probably send a rover to Duna. We'll probably send a rover to Duna, and then we'll probably build another refueling station that maybe orbits out past the moon and out past Minimus. Um, Hopefully that works. That's always the scary part with this stage, because I've had it actually knock off the bottom engine before and explode. So um, yeah. But anyways, we're gonna hopefully put a unmanned refueling station out past Minimus in a urban or a orbit around Kerbin, so we have a very far away uh, refueling station that we can stop and hook up with and refuel before we make ventures out of our solar system. Um, so that's the general idea is coming up. And once I get, I'm gonna start messing around with a lot of stuff to get to different planets. But we're gonna try to get to Duna. We're gonna try to get a manned mission to Duna and a manned mission to Eve at least before I start panicking and running out of ideas. But so we're hopefully gonna get this space station into orbit. I definitely could do without the whole command module for this space station, and like I don't need it at all, but I chose to put it on there just to basically practice and or um, get an idea of how exactly I'm going to build the ship to get us to the moon and back. Because I think that's going to be a difficult endeavor. Um, and if that's going to be a difficult endeavor, getting to Duna with a manned mission is going to be even more difficult. Um, and then we might. So what we're probably going to end up doing is we'll probably end up sending rovers to Duna, a rover to Eve, and maybe a rover to the moons of those planets. I don't really know yet. Haven't gotten that far. But for right now, for the next couple episodes, we're going to stay in our own solar system until we start messing with stuff outside of it. Um, so yeah. But anyways, we're going to keep attempting to get the space station into orbit because it's taken me about 6 tries. And I don't know why it's being so difficult, but sometimes I just can't get this thing into orbit. It just ends up being a huge debacle or faux pas. I like using big words. It makes me sound smart, even though I'm not at all whatsoever. Let's cut the engines. We're gonna fast forward to our apoapsis. Not to our apoapsis, probably about there. So we have a little bit of wiggle room here. Point more prograde. And Jovsky's freaking out, and Jebediah is stoked as always. Now, what ended up happening before is I ended up having to use my RCS boosters or my RCS thrusters to actually finish getting the space station into orbit. But what I'm hoping I'm going to do with this one is if we run into that problem again, which we probably will, because I'm running out of fuel quickly. I'm going to transfer some fuel from the command module to this tank, hopefully to give us a little bit more some more thrust, just so we can finish the orbit a little bit easier and quicker. Um, we're slowly getting into orbit here, but I'm still doubtful. I don't hold my breath whenever I try to get stuff in orbit on camera because most of the time it never works because I'm on camera. Well, not on camera, but you know what I mean. I'm recording this, so shut up. Anyways, hopefully we can get this sucker into orbit. Come on. It's almost there. Just gotta squeak around the planet a little bit. Come on, you know you want to get into orbit on this tank of fuel. At least into orbit so I don't have to use all of my fuel or the rest of my fuel to finish this. Come on. Come on, you know you want to. Alright, you know what? We'll cut the engines. We'll fast forward some more. Get to our apoapsis point prograde, and then hopefully that'll finish our orbit. Roughly, I want to put this thing at least 300,000 meters away from the surface. Now, whether or not that is actually a possibility is a completely different story. I'm definitely not, if I'm going to be transferring fuel, I'm definitely not going to be able to aim the command module to a specific spot because I just probably won't have the fuel for it. But I'm hoping, there we go. I want to get that out to at least 300,000. Come on, use that fuel. Use that fuel. But leave me some. There we go. Alright, 300,000 is what we're shooting for. Get a nice round orbit at 300,000, and we just ran out of fuel. So we're going to, why is my camera freaking out? So we're going to transfer some fuel into this guy. That was a bit much. I'll do half and half. I think 100. Why is it? Oh, that's why. God damn it. I was burning fuel that whole time. Son of a bitch. Um, yeah. Okay. Well, I guess that's gonna have to do. Hopefully, anyways, that'll have to do. All right, point prograde. Hopefully, touch that 300,000 mark. And cut the engine. We can adjust that. How much fuel? Not much, I'll tell you that much. Oh, this is going to be interesting. Alright, so we're going to fast forward to our apoapsis and hopefully extend our periapsis out to at least 250 to 300 because I can adjust it, the rest of it, with RCS thrusters. Though it is a pain, but it is a last resort. That if anybody that is actually in orbit and doesn't want to try to get back into orbit again, you can use RCS thrusters for a while. It's just a very, very slow method of adjusting your orbit, unfortunately. So yeah, we're gonna try to get this out to 300,000 with the 45 liters of fuel we have left, and go from there. This thing is extremely unwieldy and likes to not stop turning when you use the pitch and yaw. It's like wiggling right now. Can't see. Oh, and I also equipped it with a bunch of lights so we can still see the ship because I know that it's pretty dark whenever we're in the dark side of planets. It gets pretty dark on the videos on YouTube. So hopefully this will get us at least a little bit further out. And we are out of fuel. Son of a bitch. Where are we at? 241? That's not bad. I could work with that. I can mess with the RCS for the rest of that. So what we're going to do now is we're going to transfer the rest of whatever's in these tanks back into our main fuel, or our command module fuel tank, which is a lot of oxidizer because I was stupid and wasn't paying attention to the engine bleeding fuel out without actually doing anything, which was very dumb on my part. So now we're going to decouple that engine, and what we're gonna do is we're going to adjust the rest of it with RCS thrusters. Granted, it is a pain in the ass, but I really to have a space station and be able to rendezvous with it easily, you want a nice symmetrical orbit because it just makes it that much easier to meet up with it. So you know that the thing is constantly at 300,000 or whatever you choose, but it's constantly at that number. So if you get another ship up, you can stay on the inside of that orbit or on the outside of the orbit, depending on if you need to catch up or slow down, which is a bunch of technical crap that we don't need to get into. So, anyways, we'll get into that at a later date. Well, probably in the next episode, actually. So, because we'll probably be putting up a refueler pod. So we're going to get to our periapsis, and we're going to adjust with RCS thrusters. And we're going to bring that down, back down to 300,000. Hopefully on the nose. Pretty close, 300,060, which is pretty freaking close. All right, so now we're going to go back out to our apoapsis and adjust the periapsis, hopefully. So actually what I'm going to do now is I'm going to cut the video and I'll adjust it accordingly. And then when we get to the point of bringing Jebediah back into the atmosphere, I will bring you guys back. So I'm going to go ahead and do this, and I will see you guys in a few minutes. Alright guys, we're back, and we got a nice orbit going on. We got 300,032 meters and 300,076 meters. So we're only off by roughly 34 meters, something like that. Roughly, somewhere around there. So I'm not good at, yeah, say whatever, shut up. Don't judge me. So now that we got a nice orbit, what we're going to do is make sure everybody is in their respectful places. We're going to extend our solar panels. Extend our solar panels, and then we're going to make sure everybody is in their respectable places. And we're going to actually spin this guy to 90, just about there. Point it right there. And everybody should be in their right pod. Jofsky is our leader of the space station, and Jebediah is in the command module. So now what we're going to do is we are going to decouple the command module, and then we are going to... There's got to be an easier way to switch. I don't remember what button it is. Maybe it's Alt-C. Nope. Shift-C? Nope. Damn. No. Let's see here. There's got to be a button that switches vessels. There it is. I knew one existed. Alright, so now we're with Jebediah. We're gonna slowly pull away from the space station. Actually, you know what we're gonna do is we're gonna pull back here and then knock this stupid little shield off here. Maybe. Nope, just went right through. Awesome. Maybe. We'll leave it. We'll leave it for now. It'll eventually go away. Hopefully. Alright, so we're going to take Jebediah and we are going to bring him back home safely, hopefully, anyways. So what we're going to do is we're going to face retrograde, which is over here. Woo, spin way too fast here. Retrograde. And we're going to get out of this orbit. Hopefully it won't aim us directly back at our space station. Nope, space station's good. So we're going to fire our engine. Make sure we're throttled down. Whoa, what the fuck just happened there? Yeah. Are we back where we... Yes, alright. So anyways, luckily, quick save exists. And we still have our orbit. Don't mind me, everybody. I'm just an idiot. It's fine. I don't know why that does that. I did that last time too. The engine is clearly in that, in that group before this one, so I don't know why it does that. But we're gonna start over here real quick. So we're gonna deploy our solar panels and deploy. And we're gonna deploy the other side, and then we're going to spin this guy 90. Pointer more prograde here. And then we are going to decouple. Switch to the other guy. We're gonna get out of here slowly. And then next time what we'll do is we'll just activate the engine here, because that just seems like a better idea. Well, so we'll throttle down, activate the engine. Don't have much fuel, but that should be enough to get us into, or not into, but at least out of orbit, roughly. Anyways, stop spinning. So we're going to face at least away from the space station, get away from it. So if we do any kind of maneuvers, we won't run into the thing. Goodbye, space station. We will be visiting you later with more pods to add. Alright, so we are retrograde, and we are going to burn. Hopefully that'll bring our periapsis down into a manageable 40,000 range with a little bit of fuel left, which would be nice. That way we can slow our descent even more with the engines and then jettison them and safely land on the surface of Kerbin. That should be good enough. Actually, let's add a maneuver. Let's add a maneuver and move our periapsis over here. So we're a little bit closer to home base there. How much of a burn? 11 seconds. That's not bad. We should be able to do that easily. Ooh, stop spinning away from where I'm wanting you to go. Would be a plus. Thank you. And we're going to adjust that. Cut it. And get rid of that. And then we're going to wait till our apoapsis, and then we're going to bring our periapsis down to a manageable 50 to 40,000 meters above the surface, and then we shall land, hopefully. Hopefully we'll get Jebediah on the surface safely. Bring that down. That's good enough. Alright, let's fast forward here. Got to rename our space station, but we'll do that a later episode. That should slow us down to 1x as soon as we start getting back into the atmosphere. Ooh, camera's freaking out again. No, it's because we're entering the atmosphere. Alright, so we're going to face retrograde. And as we're coming in, we'll slow our descent down more. Let's see what we are. We're doing 2,335 meters per second above the surface, which is really, really, really fast. So what we'll probably end up doing is burning the rest of our fuel off to slow us down. Which is actually probably, I'm going to use my RCS though. Just to, why not, I'll tell you why not, because it's not really doing anything. It's just keeping us at a steady speed. So what we're gonna do is we're going to fire our main engine until we lose it, and then we're going to jettison it. And then we're going to turn off our SAS, turn off RCS because we don't need it anymore. And then as soon as we get right side up, deploy our parachute. Whoa, stop spinning. Ooh, I don't like that. T? No, no, that's not doing anything either, unfortunately. Hopefully we'll get Jebediah back on the surface safely here. Stop spinning out of control. I'm like trying to slow it down, it's just not working at all. Jebediah, I don't know how you're not getting sick right now. Seriously, dude. Come on, parachute. You can deploy anytime and stop this. You know that, right? So anyways, next episode we're probably going to do a scientific pod to meet rendezvous with our space station. And then the episode after that, we're going to do a refueling pod, an unmanned refueling pod to connect to with our space station. And then after that, we'll probably try to make it to the moon and back. That's going to be a pretty interesting mission to say the least, but we should be able to do it. What's going on here with your camera action here? Hopefully this will deploy soon. Parachute, you can deploy at any time. Should deploy around 30,000. At least I'm hoping it will. Oh, there we go. Now we're getting some atmospheric drag, which should stop our spinning, but I don't really know. As soon as that atmospheric drag starts getting heavy, the parachute should deploy, and we should be able to get Jebediah safely on the ground. There we go. Thank you. Make it stop spinning out of control for no reason. Alright. Now hopefully that'll give us enough drag. Oh crap, we're landing in mountains. Remember that? Remember how I was describing how, wow, we're actually really close to the space station. I was not expecting that. And we're going to land on the mountains. Sweet. And actually, we might be screwed. We might lose Jebediah here, guys. Because if this parachute deploys while it's going over 100 meters per second, we might be... Parachute might just rip right off. Which it looks like it might do. Come on, deploy, deploy! Oh, that was scary. Not gonna lie to you guys, I was terrified there for a second. Did you see how much G-force that he saw? It was definitely just about to the red, which is probably where the parachute rips off. But that was scary. I'm not gonna lie. I thought we were gonna lose Jebediah. But he is going to definitely get sick here in a minute because he is about to roll down this mountain. Sorry, Jebediah. Enjoy your roll, I guess. Oh, this is going to be extremely uncomfortable for you, buddy. Oh! Well, yeah. Well, I guess that's the end of this episode. Oh, man. I was not expecting that to do that. No. Well, Jebediah will be reincarnated again, I'm sure, in the next installment of Kerbal Space Program. So, I was really not like we go through all that shit to get to him getting onto the ground and then starting to roll, and I was like, he'll just roll. It won't even be that big of a deal. And lo and behold, you roll. If you drop a vessel 3 feet from the ground, it'll explode. Who would have thought? Because I wouldn't have. Oh man. You know what? What we'll do is we'll rename our space station Jebediah Space Station. So we'll call it the JSS. So, anyways, thanks for watching this episode, guys. Hopefully, next episode we're gonna be doing, like I said, we're gonna try to get a science vessel up to the space station, and then we're going to we'll get a science vessel up to the space station, and then a unmanned refueling station up to the space station, and then after that, we're gonna do our moon landing. Hopefully, we're gonna be able to get to the moon or back. That might be quite a few episodes of me failing miserably to get to the moon and back. So let's see here. Rename vessel. It is a station, and we're gonna call it JSS for Jebediah Space Station. So yeah. All right, guys. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.